The day my mother-in-law dismissed my father as unworthy, the sunlight pouring through the tall windows of her marble living room felt sharp enough to cut skin. The words landed like a public sentence, spoken calmly, confidently, as if they were a simple truth everyone should accept. My father, who had spent 35 years in a factory, whose hands were scarred and steady, was reduced in a single breath to something smaller than a surname. In that moment, my chest tightened, not from anger alone, but from the quiet fear that love sometimes demands a price we are never warned about. I am Ryan Malik, raised in a narrow street where mornings smelled of oil, tea, and iron dust from the nearby industrial zone. My father, Suleiman Malik, woke before sunrise every day, washed his face with cold water, and left home with a steel lunchbox and a tired smile. He never complained about his job, even when his back bent more each year or when the machines grew louder and faster. To me, he was not a factory worker. He was the man who taught me patience, honesty, and the dignity of earning bread with effort. My mother passed away early, and my father became everything at once: parent, protector, and silent supporter of my dreams. Those dreams carried me far from that street. I studied relentlessly, earned scholarships, and built a career in logistics that eventually crossed paths with the powerful Aisha Quadri, a woman admired for her intelligence and warmth. Our relationship grew in the open daylight of shared lunches, project deadlines, and long walks after work. When I proposed, I believed love had already won its hardest battles. I was wrong. Love sometimes waits quietly while pride sharpens its knives. The Quadri family name carried weight, built on generations of business success and social respect. Their house was wide and bright, filled with portraits and polished floors that reflected the sun like still water. I tried to belong there, reminding myself that effort had always been enough before. The moment came when family backgrounds were discussed, and that was when her mother, Samina Quadri, looked at me with polite certainty and delivered her judgment. She said my father's factory work made our family name unsuitable, that marriage was not just between two people but between legacies. Her tone held no anger, only the calm confidence of someone who had never been told she was wrong. I left that house under the clear afternoon sky feeling smaller than I ever had. I did not tell my father what happened. That night, I watched him eat dinner quietly, his hands moving carefully around the plate, and I wondered how many times life had insulted him without him ever passing the pain forward. The struggle inside me grew heavier each day. Aisha stood by me, torn between loyalty to her family and belief in us. She wanted time, hoping her mother would soften. Time, however, can either heal or deepen wounds. The turning point came unexpectedly on an ordinary weekday morning. A fire broke out at a storage facility connected to one of the Quadri family's major suppliers. Panic spread quickly. Deliveries were halted, contracts were at risk, and workers were trapped inside the building. I was called because of my logistics expertise, but before I could act, I saw my father among the crowd. His factory experience had trained him to react to emergencies with calm precision. Under the bright sun, he organized workers, guided them through safe exits, and helped control the situation until authorities arrived. His movements were not heroic in a dramatic sense, but they were steady, purposeful, and brave. News traveled fast. The incident became a talking point in business circles, especially when it was revealed that losses had been minimized because of quick action taken by a factory worker who understood machines and people better than any executive present. Samina Quadri heard the full account later that day. She learned my father's name, his years of service, and how his actions had protected not just property but human lives. When I saw her again, it was in the same sunlit living room, but the air felt different. Pride had softened into reflection. She did not apologize in words, but respect showed itself in changed behavior. She asked about my father's health, his work, and his experiences. For the first time, she listened without measuring worth by titles. The struggle had not ended with a dramatic confrontation, but with something quieter and more powerful, recognition. Our marriage took place in the daytime, under open skies, with families seated together. My father wore a simple suit, his posture straight despite years of labor. As I looked at him, I realized that dignity does not come from names carved in stone, but from lives lived honestly. Aisha squeezed my hand, and in that moment, the past pain felt like a necessary road that led us here. If this story moved you, take a moment to like the video and share it with someone who believes hard work should never be underestimated. And before you leave, subscribe to the channel and comment your thoughts below, because stories like these deserve to be heard and remembered. By the end of that day, as sunlight faded gently into evening, I understood something my father had always known. True worth does not ask for permission to exist. It stands quietly, patiently, until the world finally learns how to see it.